And we're back with some more oxygen not included. And today we're going to be designing ourselves a new rocket, one that can run entirely on Frostburgers and still make long trips. But before we get around to that, there is just a couple of things we've got to take care of. Like this annoying little volcano here we had to cool down. We need to make this a little bit more standardized and accessible. There we go. And now a beautiful source of copper has opened up to us. That should work out quite nicely. Actually, what is that in there? Steel? Now, I need to be careful here. It used to be that these volcanoes would overpressurize at 150 kilos of steam pressure, but I think that might have been changed. I'm going to keep an eye on this one. This should be erupting in about 0.6 of a cycle. We'll come back and have a look then. For now, there's something else we have to take care of. This over here needs to be changed. There's been some recommendations that this natural gas, it's not... Well, it hasn't been blessed by a coup, so it needs to be touched by a coup before we can use it in our gas range. So, a couple of quick modifications here. As we are waiting for this to finish, I believe our volcano is about to start erupting. Yeah, I don't think it is it? Overpressure. Yeah, we need to take the pressure in here down below 150 kilos. That might take a minute. There we go. Quick gas pump. It's going to start pumping the gases out. It will take it a little time. All the steam we're just dumping over here, it touches that metal tile, immediately turns into liquid and falls down. That's because that tile is cooled and all of that steam just, well, it's insta-gone. It's half a kilo of steam per second. Our cooling loop can eat that pretty handily. Actually, how is our cooling loop doing? You are on 36%. Wow, okay, 68% of the last 5 cycles you've been active. That's actually used an awful lot more than I thought it would be. Never mind. Let's go back to getting a coup installed. There. Now all the natural gas we're using for cooking on our stove has to pass by a coup. There is no way past it. It has to go up here and around that tile somehow, so it's always touching a coup one way or the other. I think that works out nicely. In fact, we may bring the salt water past here, though I'm not pouring it on the ground. There were some suggestions we should pour in the salt water and bleach stone on the ground. Hell no, that would be far too complicated. While all of that has been going on, we've sort of got McLoofus here to join in this colony. Well, they're still living out of the rocket, but we've got them cooking, and once this first meal is done... Where is it? Come on, drop it out. Come on, where is it? There we go. Frostburger, 6,000 calories. And its weight is 1 kilo. Wow, 1 kilo and has 6,000 calories? That's way too much. Can we actually limit this to, like... Oh, we need 2,000 calories per serving, so 0.33333? Never mind, 1 kilo is the minimum we're allowed. So instead, let's just set it to 1 kilo and stick in the Frostburger. Wow, we've got so many food choices. Where do we put Frostburgers? Now, the thing I'm interested in here is, does the fridge act in reverse? As in, it's supposed to chill food down, but if our food comes in really cold, this stuff's like minus 100 and something degrees. Look at that! It's rapidly raising in temperature. What happens if we cut the power to that fridge? That's right, no more power. Are you still going to rapidly raise the temperature of that? Why? Why are you doing that? Is it the refrigerator is exchanging heat with everything? Yeah, its temperature seems to be remaining stable. But the food is just... I'm not sure if that's a good idea. Let me think about this for a minute. Oh, also, I'm thinking McLoofus is not leaving anymore. They are being transferred here. They now have enough food to keep them going for a while, and they've only got way more. Yeah, we can definitely make a few more Frostburgers, I'm thinking, and considering their calorie density, I think they shall be fine. Though, we will need to activate the lead suit checkpoint so that they can get in and out. We will need to hook up the plumbing. I just did that for the toilets. So now we can actually get some water in there. They have toilets they can use. We're also going to have to give them a nice comfy bed. You can have that one right beside the potted plant. And, yeah, and, yeah, give them a dining table as well. Done. Welcome to your new home, buddy. Turns out there was maybe a couple of things I left out, like putting in carpet tiles everywhere. Their stress was a bit high. Popped eardrums from passing through that 5 to 6 kilo pressure carbon dioxide. Bit of a sweep up as well. Also, since we're going to be hiring some new duplicants, throw in a quick gym here at the back. And finally, a mini gas pump here, which its only purpose is to filter out carbon dioxide. Oxygen just gets sent back into the base, any carbon dioxide gets dumped outside the base. Well, actually, only oxygen will be kept in, everything that's not oxygen gets kicked out, which should only be carbon dioxide. That natural gas stove puts off a little bit of carbon dioxide when it's in use. Right, I think that's sorted, but there is one thing. Well, we need more duplicates. which I didn't think was going to be an issue, but we've only got 11 duplicants left back here, plus a few in rockets, which we're probably going to recycle into. Ooh, excellent. That's a uranium rocket. In fact, when it comes to uranium, we're sort of swimming in this stuff. The reason being I've got a rocket doing a round-robin trips to all of the uranium asteroids. So there's one out here that's actually been visited reasonably quickly. That one was visited semi-recently. That was the last one visited, and in the fourth one over here, well, that's next up on the agenda. So we have been bringing back tons of the stuff. In fact, if we look down here, I don't even think these can keep up. We have, we've only 667 kgs of uranium ore. Is that it? But inside them, we have 2 tons, 2 tons, 2 tons. So we got about 10 tons of uranium, enriched uranium in there. We've got another 17 to 18 tons in there. And over on Texas, Aku has 11 tons, so about 1,000 cycles. I think that's going to be good for a while. But yes, distracted as I was, I think it's time we grab a new duplicant, and I'm thinking this one might cut the mustard. Okay, their noodle arms is terrible, irritable bowel isn't great, but they've got husbandry and agriculture. Oh, definitely not an allergic. And cuisine and construction, we don't actually need construction and building for these type of duplicants. So let's head back to Forging in Progress and spawn in our newest dupe. In fact, yeah, I'm sorry, it's going to be immediately into popped eardrums for you, buddy. Yeah, but that's okay. Popped eardrums, and then immediately you're going to run over here. Are you? Well, okay, once you stop getting scalded. Come on. Oh, wow, you're slow. You have literally 0 training. Come on. Get out of there before you get any more scalded. Yeah. Dear Lord, every other duplicate moves like lightning in comparison. I'd forgotten how slow... Like there's Welling... Everyone's passing them like they're standing still. Perfect. Now we're just going to make sure you never, ever get out of here, because if you try and get out of there, you'll probably die. Right, and then we're going to make sure you can get to go into the gym and no one else can. Well, there we go. Nesbit's on the wheel. Oh, wait, no. We have to name them, don't we? Damn it. Please welcome Robert Lord to the team. Once they get themselves skilled up a bit, what we will do is we will send them right out to be doing all of the... agriculture and the husbandry, which will mean grooming the critters and harvesting all of the trees and the plants we have. Hopefully those plants mutate at some point and we can cut that down to 1 waterweed. I would really like 1 waterweed, 1 sleetweed, and then the critters that would just, I don't know, there's something just sort of sweet about doing it that way. Before we get on with the next part of our plan, we're going to do a quick jaunt home. Reason being, starting to run low on oxalite in here. Now, we could fire some over, but we'll lose a bunch to the background of space. It's just generally annoying. So I think what we'll do is we'll just crew up, head home. It's literally a tiny jump. I think it'll take us less than a cycle to get home. It's from here to here, so no time at all. We'll be back in 1 minute. However, there is one thing I'd like to try and take care of when we're home. It's a little problem that's been bugging us for a while. I think I know a way to take care of the problem. Well, the dupes have arrived at the other side. They've even settled in for the night, and Brendan should be just about out of bed. Now, Brendan, where do we put you? The reason we want Brendan is he has the highest digging skill of all of the duplicants we've got. So, Brendan, why don't you hop on the teleporter? We have a quick job for you. It might be a little bit concerning for you, but I'm sure it'll be fine. Hey, Brendan, you want to get in, buddy? You're going to take medicine. You know what? I think we're going to turn off the rad pills for a minute. All right, you're in there. Finally. All right, we're going to teleport you. Reason being, there's some slowdown going on. The game's getting a bit chuggish. They're taking a long time to make decisions. But we have a solution. The solution is cut down on the amount of critters that are pathing about the place. And that should be fairly handy once we wipe out all these morbs. Yeah, turns out the morb population got a little... Where are you going? Nope. Nope. I'm going to want you in there. Yes, it takes him a second to figure out where you want him to go. You're going to get a bit of soggy feet. That's okay. And then once you're in there, you're in. That's it. Everyone's in. And the opposite side, you know what? No one's allowed out. You're trapped in there with them. Deconstruct that. Every time we restart the game, the outhouse spawns another morb after like about 5 to 10 cycles. We've done a lot of restarting, haven't we? Alright, perfect. Now, I would like to see how many morbs there are in there, but unfortunately they don't show up on the room overlay. Let's just deconstruct this outhouse and have a quick looky to see how many there are. And that is... 73. Okay, 73 morbs running around is not good, so I figure we'll just do a little bit of a cull. And this is the reason we sent Brendan. Namely because their excavation is 18, and that's what's used for attacking. Did they just release a whole bunch of polluted oxygen? Germs, anyone? Perfect. And dead. One down. Only 71 more to go. Ugh. What's their schedule like? I sent them first thing in the morning, so hopefully they have the whole day to just blast away. Well, yeah, they got a bit of time. You know what? All work and no play will still be technically play. This has got to be fun for them, right? Brendan tried to take a nap in the middle of this. We maybe made a few changes to that. Come on, buddy. Wake back up. You've still got 18 critters left to go. No rest for the wicked, I'm afraid. Well, there we go, Brendan. You have done a good job, but I think we need to change your name a little. Brendan O'Toole. Yeah, we're just gonna call you Brendan the Destroyer. Much better. I think that's far more appropriate for all of that. That's a hell of a killing spree. I don't think I've seen anything like that in Oxygen Not Included ever before. All right, get out of there, and yeah, immediately go down to the teleporter. Well, we need to get you out of there, get you home so that you can get a good meal into you. Perfect. Straight home. You deserve a solid meal and a nap and a decent bed. They're all ready to launch back. In fact, we're taking a few extra. We've got the regular 3 duplicants in that one. We've got the other 3 over here, all pretty much dressed like the cast of the Village People from what I can tell. And we've got a new colony transport. We're bringing over another 2 duplicants in Halo Davis and Martinez. Basically, we want a rancher and a cook full-time on this industrial colony, and they should provide most of the industrial base. Well, the industrial base, the cooking and all that. And, guys, you want to leave? Oh, yeah. I should probably make sure one of these is capable of actually accessing the rocket. I've kind of turned off rocket piloting just to prevent the bad rocket pilots from taking over from the good ones. Our newest 2 duplicants have arrived, and they're going to make... They've got lots of popped eardrums, they're going to have soggy feet, but so long as they make it through... No! Don't go ranching just yet. Why don't you go inside? I don't even know where you're going. Store eggshells? No! Get inside, you muppets! Before you die! Okay, there we go. You're all inside. Nice, nice. Now, we've locked them in there for a bit, just so they can get their breath back. Halo here, they're going to be doing the cooking. They're going to be just completely dedicated towards cooking because we have a lot of a backlog of food to go through. Martinez, their jobs, the reason we brought them, they're actually good at husbandry and they've got a bit of agriculture on them, so they should work out pretty okay. And Halo here, same thing, they've actually got a bit of agriculture on them, so we'll have them doing cooking and a little bit of agriculture on the side. I want to have about 3 duplicants covering basically grooming, farming, and cooking. And those 3 will do that, and then all the rest of the column will be dedicated towards industry. We just need those 3 to maintain everything in the meantime. Well, that's the theory, but that's for a later date. For now, we need to work on some rocketry. You see, the problem we face is we need to get our hands on bleachstone and salt water from another planet so that we can grow the water weed so that we can create the frostburgers. Now, to get there, though, we need some sort of food that can last long enough to make it all the way out to, well, the water planet, which is 10 tiles away and 10 tiles back. Frostburgers are not going to cut it unless we deep freeze them, and then there's been a few suggestions on how we deep freeze them. Like, say, put them in a corner here, seal them into a vacuum, and then make sure that all the Frostburgers come in pre-frozen. So we have a bunch of Frostburgers in, say, here, and we can click on one and see that its temperature is a perfect minus 198, meaning it's very, very deep frozen. And then we could ship them in here, and then they would stay deep frozen so long as they remained in a vacuum. Problem is, how do we ensure that the Frostburgers that are already frozen get in there? We can't, because it might happen that when the rocket comes back, there's a new Frostburger just popped out of the gas range, someone picks it up and carries it over there, and we've got a hot Frostburger in there. That Frostburger rots, next thing you know, we've got polluted oxygen, and then, the whole thing falls apart. Or we could use, conveyor rails to ship them in. In fact, yeah, that would be even more difficult. Weight plates, all sorts of stuff. But then I thought, let's just freeze the entire rocket. If we turn the entire rocket into a deep freeze, well, then that should keep the food fresh, right? All we got to worry about is the duplicants getting hypothermia, and duplicants don't care about hypothermia. You can kill them with temperature, but only heat. Heat will kill them, but they can get hypothermia all they want. They'll just walk that stuff off. So let me try and build a quick rocket here. One of the problems with reducing the temperature in here to about minus 35 or so will be any water will freeze in the pipes. So when it comes to plumbing, well, we've got a little bit of a problem on the toiletry front. Instead of just going to go with an outhouse, you're going back old school outhouse, but since that means it can only get us one morale point, it's not actually worth building the full-on bathroom. Just getting a latrine is plus one morale. Plus one morale. I'd prefer to have the extra space to put into our Great Hall, because otherwise we won't be able to get a Great Hall up as well as a latrine. Well, I couldn't figure out a way to get everything we needed in here that way. So, unfortunately, that's going to be a sort of a dead room, or, not really worthwhile to us. This over here should end up as a actual Great Hall. All we need to do is put ourselves in. Where is it? Yep, arrow pot. We need one decor item. We could hang it there. What? I like it there a little bit better. Perfect. Great Hall, bedroom. Done. That's pretty much all we're going to be able to squeeze in here. Though we do have an automation receiver and some weird piping, but that is to do with cooling this down, which, yeah, that took it. I'm not sure if it's going to work. I've done some testing on automation receivers because this rocket is going to be going outside of range of our planet. I had to make sure it seems to keep its signal. More on that later. For now, though, we need oxalite. So we're going to put ourselves together a little oxalite refinery down here so that we can take the oxygen from Aku and combine it with the gold from this planet. There is, yes, gold coming out of these volcanoes. That can go into the oxalite refinery, and that will give us our oxalite for this planet. If I can get someone to finish those pipes. Anyone? It's just the only people who can do it are the people who are locked inside, and currently they're prioritizing, ranching, farming, and cooking, which were the three I dedicated them to, which is, my bad. But I think they'll finish it in a minute. Perfection. There we go. That should get us some oxalite production started, which we're going to need in a bit. But for now, we sort of want to prep this system with just a little bit of carbon dioxide. Well, actually quite a lot of carbon dioxide. We want to make sure that this area down here is a fridge. Well, a CO2 pit. I'm thinking we'll just get a gas pump here and pump the stuff directly into the rocket. And, we're going to have to destroy some refined carbon here if we want to do this the way I want to do it. Perfect. CO2 now pumping directly into the rocket. Yeah, I should probably explain the insanity behind this, but first we're going to need a freezing unit. How's the pressure in there? Not a lot. We'll wait until it's up to a few kilos. In fact, we'll just let that go up to 2 kilos, I don't mind. What we're going to do down here is we need to put in some sort of freezer unit to, provide freezing to the Spacefarer modules. In fact, actually we should give you a rename, shouldn't we? Forgetting the mod doesn't allow me to change it there. You have to actually click on over here, so you are going to be called Bleach of Aku, because that will be your round-trip purpose, to go grab bleach and bring it back so that it can be used for the glory of Aku. This automation receiver, actually we can't rename that one either. We'll have to set up an automation broadcaster for that. There's stuff we'll have to do later, but for now, I think this rocket has just got the bare bones basics in place. Now all we have to do is deconstruct some space down here and make ourselves a little steam turbine heat deletion cooling device to reduce the temperature of this to minus 35, say, roughly. While all this is going on, we do have something going on in the Spacefarer module. That oxalite arrived. I could have sworn I didn't set the priority that high, but whatever. This has started oxygenating the place, but you'll notice down here, still nicely smothered in carbon dioxide. This is our CO2 pit that we're going to, refrigerate. I made it 4 tiles deep because 3, you get a little bit of bobbing back and forth on the top layer. So this way we make sure that the bottom layer down here stays fine. Right now we are currently pumping out the CO2. Everything in this area will be pure oxygen, and only the entrance to the capsule will be in carbon dioxide. So now all we have to do is just finish up our freezing device and we should be good to go. This here is going to be a chill box, or just, a temperature storage unit. And for it, we're going to use petroleum, namely because it's on site and I didn't want to, I didn't want to ship in a whole bunch of supercoolant for no reason, especially when we've been stockpiling the stuff. I turned off the pumping out of this so we could actually stockpile some. So let's see if we can get some use out of it anyway. One thing is we need a transfer medium for this steam turbine, and while I was going to use a bit of liquid, I thought, why not use gases, because I've actually got a convenient way of getting them in this location. What we can do is we can just let this carbon dioxide flood in there, knock out a tile here. Okay, though some of it will escape into the background of space, but that's fine. And then we'll force at least a couple of kilos of carbon dioxide pressure in there, and then we'll just leave it at that. That should keep the whole place nice and chill. The cooling loop is actually going to go up here and pass through the ceiling, so it should be fine. Just let the pressure build up. Give me a little lump of drywall in there just to keep it going for a while. We could also use a mesh tile, but then the mesh tile will end up top there, and I don't want to leave any debris behind. Now, of course, we do have to get all this carbon dioxide out of our steam chamber now, but that's no problem. We've got plenty of the background of space to work with. And I think, yeah, we got definitely more than 2 kilos of pressure up there, which is more than sufficient to keep that place cool. Now we're just going to finish off the rest of this in insulated tiles. Oh, that brine. This brine actually came from this rocket, which went out to the saltwater planet. We don't need that, so let's just empty it in there, and that will act as the liquid layer we're going to need anyway. Just, you know, worked out quite nicely. I'm pretty sure this is going to explode everywhere, and some of it's going to be lost to space, but we don't need all 4 tons of it. There, perfect. Then we just get rid of the last of the carbon dioxide and seal this up, and it's good to start. Super coolant has been applied. We can actually... Wait, what is that? That's not super coolant. Ah, damn it. Okay, I need to remove that from there somehow. I'm thinking with a liquid bridge. Well, after a little bit of changing, we've managed to get that sorted. Now we're just going to chill this all the way down to minus 35°C. That'll give us a nice ice box to draw on. Then we're going to start rotating supercoolant through the rocket compartment and then hope we don't lose a bunch to space if we mess this up. We shouldn't, but yeah, that's why I'm limiting these loops so that there's only well, there's only going to be a limited amount on it. That way, if we lose any, I'll know, because we don't want to have to be replacing supercoolant. That wouldn't be very sustainable now, would it? With the piping in place, I don't want to run through the supercoolant just yet. I want to set up the automation for unloading this. And this one's going to be bringing back the bleach stone, which is going to be coming out. Well, this one was when we've sent earlier, bleach stone here. So we need to make some sort of storage area for it and keep track of when we need to launch another rocket to get more bleach stone. For that, we're going to have to ship that down. Ooh, I think we're going to go straight through here. Don't want the rails to melt. So, like that. Yeah, and then once we get down to about there, I think we can switch over to something a little bit more meltable. And we'll go straight down here. That at least gets us out of the vacuum of space. We're going to be carrying bleach stone here, so it's going to off-gas. We're going to need to make a few changes here to make sure it doesn't cause any problems, though. Oh, and automation-wise, I'm sending over some tungsten. Because if we're putting automation wires around here and we expect them to last forever, well, let's do cooling. No. We're going to use tungsten just to make sure nothing melts. When we make this, we want to make sure it's built to last. Now, I know we did dig out that tile there, and we went to all that effort of making the refined carbon, but I think we should be fine. If you check down here, the temperature of these rocks, I launched and landed the rockets a bunch of times to generate heat. It's 400 and something degrees. If we put in a very conductive tile there, and we leave a little bit of coal on top, you see there's 1 kilo of coal right there. When this tile builds, the coal should get pushed on top. And then after it gets pushed on top, it's going to start to heat up because the metal tile is going to dump heat into it. And then once it's about 270 of it, well, there you go. Refined carbon. Problem solved. That wasn't so bad now. Alright, we will actually cancel the maybe we should deconstruct that. You know what? We'll leave it in there. What temperature does it melt at? Coal's pretty low. Oh, only 1,000 degrees. That'll be fine. This here is where all the rails go. They're completely protected from evaporating into the background of space. So, well, except at the very, very, very top. We might have to do something about that. You know what? No, I'm not going to worry about... No, I'm not doing it. No. Down here is where we're going to store all of that stuff. Yeah, let me think. See, the reason we've got all of this place pressurized up to 5 kilos is we don't have to worry about things off-gassing. The polluted water at the bottom of the map, don't care. The oxalite over here, don't care. The polluted dirt inside here, don't care. So long as it's over 1.8 kilos, none of it can off-gas, and we're at 10. Same with the bleach stone. So I'm thinking we'll put a little storage area here with a little bit of automation. So first thing we're going to do now is realize that we had put in the wrong loader. Replace it with a unloader, not a loader. Then we can select this to get the consumable ore and unload all the bleach stone. Now the bleach stone will start coming from this rocket. This is not going to be our bleach stone rocket, but this is the one we did for testing anyway. And that will start unloading here. And as you can see, we're going to get some stuff lost into the background of space. Yeah, little bits of that are going to get lost. But it's not the end of the world. We just need to keep enough of it from evaporating. 20 kilos. Yeah, like only tiny amounts are evaporating. Most of it's getting captured and dropped down here. And then it lands on this weight plate. And let's just let a bit of it build up. We've got this set to, if this goes above 2... I think that should really be below. Yeah, we'll wait. That should be just about fine. This goes up to an automation broadcaster, which we'll worry more about that later on. Oh, stop going in there. No one's allowed in. They're going to take that bleach stone away and... Yeah, I do have some storage things for bleach stone to keep it from off-gassing. Also, we had earlier, but we don't need that anymore. From now on, we'll be surviving on bleach stone from space. Now, before we get into the automation of the rockets, let's just have a quick cover of what happens to this bleach stone when it lands down here. Gets loaded up into the conveyor loader. The conveyor loader goes all the way along here. and then it passes under the watchful gaze of Aku before continuing all the way across here. Goes down, hops across, and then goes into right here. Now this here is the conveyor receptacle that will hold it, and this here is the automation sweeper that will take that and dump it on top of the crops. The thing is, these crops don't need a lot of it. This bleach stone, I think it's 500 grams per cycle. Yeah, so it's 500 grams of bleach stone per cycle, and we're running 3 of them. So let's see how much we've got left over once that's finished. 9 tons. 9 tons of this stuff. In fact, the rocket we're making can hold, well, 27 tons, but the point of interest it's going to, we're only going to be bringing back 15 tons. So we'll be bringing back 15 tons of bleach stone every run, which means we only have to head out. That can't be right. According to my math, 15 tons divided by 1.5 kilos means it will take 10,000 cycles before one rocket runs out of bleach stone. So we'll only have to launch this rocket once every 10,000 cycles. That's it's good to know. That's God, amount of time and effort put into this. And I don't think it'll ever be used. Well, in my lifetime. Okay. That's brilliant. That is just absolutely brilliant. Oh, okay. Just 10,000 cycles. Anyway, for the next part, we're going to start loading in the supercoolant here. It's going to be a little bit warm to start as it goes through there. But it's got plenty of time to cool down this rocket. This rocket has all the time in the world. So we'll just go in here and check the interior. Perfect. Okay, supercoolant's coming through here, starting to drag down the temperature. Excellent. Then it'll, all the way until we get to this point. This is the liquid shut-off, and this is sort of the important bit. This was the bit I had to do a little bit of side playing to figure out how to do, because we're going to need to do this for the second rocket as well. I mean, this isn't completely useless. We're going to do one for the salt water, which hopefully that needs to be set. Oh, wait, what the hell? No, that's off. One moment. We need to set this for, was it bleach? Bleach of Aku. Yes. You are going to relay the signal of bleach in Aku. That means that should be a green signal now. And that green signal should mean the supercoolant will pass through. Then it goes up here, and if we go outside, and it comes back out again. Perfect. Now, you know what? I think that is plenty. We don't need any more than that. Done. Deconstruct that. Okay, so what happens when we need more bleach stone? What happens when we start to run low? Well, down here you'll notice we've got this set to, if this goes below 2 tons, it will send an automation signal. And when that automation signal turns green, the first thing it will do will turn this off. So what it's going to do is stop this flow of supercoolant through here. We don't want the supercoolant continuing when this rocket takes off, otherwise that stuff will get vented into the background of space and will be lost. We need to stop this before it takes off. So first, that will be stopped. Once that's stopped, what will happen is the automation signal will also flip this, but this is a filter gate. It's going to slow it down for 10 seconds. So 10 seconds after this flips and stops the supercoolant from passing through, this will turn on and tell the rocket to launch. And the thing is, once the rocket launches, it'll go off, come back with the resources, and once it lands, it will not launch again, or should I say, it can't launch again until its cargo is unloaded. I used to think if you sent a green signal here, it didn't matter what was going on, it would try and launch. But it turns out if you send a green signal in here and it still has cargo on board, it will not try and launch. It'll just wait and sit there until the cargo is unloaded. Then once the cargo is all unloaded, it will then request the pilot to come along. The pilot gets on board the ship, and then it will take off and fly off to the location. So that means when it does come back, it won't immediately try and relaunch. That gives us time to start unloading it, and once there's 2 tons of resources here, that'll switch it off anyway, and it won't try to launch. Which means we should be good to go. Of course, this will mean when it lands that the automation to circulate the supercoolant won't be on immediately, but that doesn't matter. It'll only take about 5 minutes or so. I think we could probably test this with the liquid one we're going to do. We need a saltwater one. Let me check the times on the saltwater one, actually. I think the saltwater one, we're going to have to send that far more frequently. Yeah, for salt water, it's only 25%, so that's like 5 tons. We're going to get 5 tons of salt water. Let me figure out how many trips we're going to have to make and how often. Checking the numbers here, it takes 5 kilos of salt water. We have 3 plants. That means it would take Well, about 333 cycles before we need to launch another saltwater rocket. That's it's a reasonable amount of time, and it'll be even better once we get a mutation. If we can get an exuberant mutation, we'll only need 7.5 kilos of water to keep one of them running, which works out at 666.666 cycles we'll have to launch a rocket at. Ah, brilliant. Just brilliant. All right, let's plug this in. I will have to assign out a pilot, but I think we've got a little bit of time. I mean, we have some time. We can wait. There is no immediate rush on this bleachstone one, I'm thinking. Let me check the temperature in here. Temperature is, oh my god, only down to 8 degrees. Come on, seriously? That's we're using thermium piping in here. Some of the most actually everything's made out of really expensive stuff. We didn't really spare much expense anywhere. Supercoolant is down to still working on it. Give it some time. Give it some time. I'm just doing a little bit of refitting on the second module, the one returning to salt. But I was sort of cutting out that bit. We don't need to see it. But down here, this gold volcano has finally kicked off. This is the only self-cooled one we're using. As you can see, the output water is about 95 C, and it's coming past here. And the steam turbine is actually only hitting 97.1, 97.2, 7.3. Basically, the amount of cooling it's getting from the water passing through it is keeping it just about stable. And yeah, the gold volcano stopped erupting. And if we leave this here, it should just keep draining the heat slowly but surely out of this until eventually it goes back to normal. It maxed out at 98.3 and now it's back to 98.2, and it should slowly keep dropping until, yeah, once this hits 125. So, yeah, that seems to be working, though we'll still keep an eye on it for the future. For now, though, let me just finish off the renovations in here. Oh, that looks much, much, much better. Minus 32.9. Temperature in here is well out of refrigeration levels or deep freeze levels. I think it's time we gave this a spin. Now, each kilo is going to give us about 6,000 calories, and this is a 10-day trip. Never mind all that. Let's just chuck in 10 kilos. That's pretty much all the Frostburgers we've got, but I really want to give this a test and see if the automation works. Now, if we check under crew here, we should be able to stick in... Nope, not McLufus. Pedro. We brought over Pedro from our home planet. Well, actually, I should probably just change that to something, but never mind. We've brought them over. They're now the crew for this ship. And since they're the crew for this ship, when the automation changes for this, he should automatically get on board. Now, this is hooked up to this liquid tank here. This liquid reservoir is where the salt water goes when it comes out of this ship. We'll cover more on it when it returns. But once this is running low, that means, well, we're running out of water to feed to our crops. We should send for more. So what it'll do is, right now it's sending a green signal. Green signal yet, which shuts that off. Let me rephrase. Once it hits below the recommended amount, which is 85% of a full tank, the automation signal here will turn green, saying, hey, give me more stuff. That signal will travel all the way along here, hit a NOT gate, get turned to an off signal, which gets sent into this Salt of Aku transmitter. Then that goes in here, where it lands at this automation receiver, which is set to Salt of Aku, which turns off this liquid shut-off, which stops the flow of supercoolant. So now no more supercoolant can go in or out. That means we're not going to lose any when this ship takes off. Then at the same time, that automation signal sends up through this filtered output, which is a 10-second countdown timer. We'll see it there now. Yeah, set to 10 seconds. And it's just counting down, and now green, which sends a green launch signal. Wait, I put it into the wrong side. God damn it. All right, one more time, this time in high speed. Look this up. It tells the ship to, hey, stop rotating the supercoolant. Supercoolant stops rotating and will jam. Then down here, this counts up to 10 seconds. Once the countdown hits 0, it sends a launch signal to the rocket. The rocket should now have an errand to request. Come on, where are yous? Hey, now I know they're in their suit, but, well, I'm lazy. Pedro, get in there. Off ya go, buddy. Excellent. Now Pedro is airborne. Now I know they're in their suit, and that's going to cause them stress. However, when it comes to stress, they've got soul food on them for the minus 15% stress debuff thingy. In worst case scenario, we can always stick them into one of those pods and get them a whole bunch of stress relievers. Also, this carpeted tile here, I think they'll be fine. Probably. You know what? We'll find out. Yep, they're on their way over there, considering their current move speed. 3.5 cycles? 3.5 cycles back, so 7 cycles. Easy peasy. Oh, and the food is stored right down here. The effort. We went through all this effort so that these frost burgers are classified as fresh and they are deep frozen. Temperatures below -18°C, greatly prolonged shelf life, and they're also in a sterile atmosphere, which is the carbon dioxide. And oh, yep, go grab that snack now, buddy. And they can sit down and chow down. Perfection. Let's see if anything goes horrifically wrong, and hopefully when they come back we can sort this out. Oh, yeah, there's... we'll cover that. We'll cover that in a minute. Our dupe is well on the way, and as far as I can tell, no stress problems. I mean, they're gasping for breath a lot, but their stress is still -15% per cycle. Namely because, well, they've got high morale, which is counteracting difficulty, and soul food is giving them a -15% as well. They don't seem to be getting any stress from not being able to breathe constantly. I thought holding your breath gave you stress, but it turns out if you're in a suit, seems no negatives. It's also insulating them from the cold, which is good because it's, a tiny bit chilly in here at -30. But yeah, everything seems to be working out fine. They're surviving perfectly well on the burgers. I'm going to call that a success so far. Let's wait see what happens when they come back. Now, down here, we've made a couple of changes while we were waiting. Oh, God. Yeah, these transport overlays are getting crazy. We're picking up all the eggshells and the meat, and we're going to send them all down... Oh, wait. All down here? Ah, yes, all down here to this section. And once all of them get there, this is going to be sort of our sorting central location. All the eggshells are going to come out here, and they're going to get dropped at this location. We'll put in an egg smasher later so we can get lime. The rest, which is all the meat, is going to get sent up here and into our fridge. That should cut down a little bit on our labor requirements. Oh, I think a critter just spawned. No, that's a bad place to spawn. Well, it turns out it's forgiven its poke shell friend, I suppose. This is really speeding up the evolution. Hey, yep. That's, that's a really, really rapid evolution chamber, dear lord. Anyway, let's not look at that anymore, but any meat... Actually, the meat from that should drop in a minute, and when it does... Oh, come on. Hey, there we go. Meat has been sorted, and off you go. Along here, all the way over, and that's going to be turned into frost burgers. I've stopped everyone from eating frost burgers for a minute because... Well, we kind of put all of them on the rocket and we needed to... We're stockpiling a few. We've got 67,000 calories, but I think we'll burn through some of our other excess. Like, we have a bunch of pacu fillets we picked up along the way. You know what? We'll turn them into cooked seafood. We'll give everyone a snack. They can live on that for a wee bit. Also, they can live on the frost buns. Just until the meat starts to pick up. We finally hit capacity, as in... Sorry about that. Save got in the way. But yeah, this year we've got 8 critters, 8 critters, and 8. I was only going to have 6, 6, and 6, but I decided to just crank it up a bit so we could get more meat and maybe get into the burgers faster. You see, we have plenty of frost buns, we have plenty of lettuce, we just don't have enough meat. Soon, though. Soon we'll be catching up. And we've already got, well, 5 people who are living in this base, which means we only need 3 more to be done. And then the oxide refinery is pretty much churning out full speed. In fact, the whole base is sort of just humming away. It's fully operational. All of this polluted dirt is providing oxygen to this section. This has been running flat out since we built the oxalate refinery. Not a bother on it. This thing is just eating things like a champ. In fact, the whole base is pretty much just fully operational. Just missing 3 more people. I think we're actually done. Oh, and the rocket automation is working out perfectly. I'll have to see when it comes back to be sure, but Duplicant has made it all the way out to the interstellar ocean. They are mining away. We are harvesting the necessary salt water to bring back. We've already got 898 kilos, well, 900 kilos of salt water good to go. Oh, this thing is actually, it maxes out about, it doesn't max out at the full 20 tons, as in there's not, the total mass of this plant is not 20 tons. Only about, it's 17 or 18 tons. We'll have to see exactly how much salt water they bring back, but honestly, if we have to go every 300 cycles instead of every 333, not going to complain. And as for the bleach rocket, assuming we can get our hands on an exuberant waterweed, we can cut down our travels to the bleach planet to, once every 20,000 cycles. Jesus. But it's done. It's done. We could have been finished here episodes ago if we didn't decide to make those frost burgers. The frost burgers just killed me in terms of getting the rockets out. But this whole thing works. 1 kilo of methane, just done. Whole planet. This whole thing is running off 1 kilo of methane. No other inputs required. We can leave and this thing will just keep running forever. The only really external input is the gold, which we've got from a locally sourced volcano. So I'm not even going to try. We could do a rocket to go get ourselves the gold to go into the oxalate, But it's like the amount required. It's 600 grams of oxalate or 600 milligrams. Wait, no, 3,000 milligrams of gold for every 600 grams of oxalate you get out. Nah, not worth it. Plus, we'd have to make a hydrogen liquefier, and no, no, it's fine the way it is. I think we'll do. Oh, I know I've been going on a long time in this series. I think we'll do at least one more planet. I kind of want to pick one planet to do, maybe two, depending on how they go. But I was thinking the fire planet would be the most interesting one. I think I have an idea about how to do the fire planet in a very interesting way. If we're going to do a second planet, though, I'd probably want to do Fiffilatel, just to sort of harvest the regolith. Maybe as a retirement home for our builders. Never mind, but that is for the next episode. I hope you enjoyed and good luck.